He says we're live, but I don't see the menu. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, now I can see. Now I can see. And
oh, man. You know, moments like these, I am reminded that it's very important to focus up.
Focus.
Oh! What a clean transition, bro. Dude. Welcome back, man. Craig has returned. He survived.
I did survive.
He was kidnapped by Jawas, had to build his own lightsaber and then break his way out of Star Wars land. So he has returned.
Thank you.
Craig. Actually, I want to talk about this, bro. Oh. So let's go over the epicness, man, because you had some pretty cool experiences over there at Disneyland. Dude, what was your favorite ride?
It was between two. I really liked the Guardians of the Galaxy ride that they had there. It was really fun. But I'd have to go with the overall experience. I'd have to say the Star Wars ride was the best ride by a long shot.
Up for that quite a bit.
You can You could actually look the ride up on YouTube. I kind of wish we had a link of it. I could just put it into the chat, but it's all right.
Or hear me out. You could just go over to Disneyland yourself and check it out.
That's also true.
I think Luis is gonna punch in the link into the chat or whatever. Probably.
Oh, there's a
instead
YouTube
of being an actual
video.
Producer and actually pulling up the video and whatnot. But that's okay.
There is a YouTube video.
He doesn't know how to do that stuff yet. He's not technologically advanced. He's kind of in the Stone Ages still. But that's okay. It's okay.
Let's say you could go on YouTube and look up Star Wars Disneyland and
it's pretty cool.
Find it too. So
pretty cool.
It is a cool ride.
But yeah, man, dude, I'm glad to have you back, brother. It's he has returned, y'all, and we got a bunch of great stuff coming up here, man. Because we got actually Gundam comes, dude. Like the starter
decks are coming out Friday.
Insane. This is here.
It should be 5:30 this Friday.
Yeah, man.
It comes out. And the one thing that's kind of weird about Star Wars, I see I'm on Star Wars now. The weird thing about Gundam is that they have a starter deck release, and then they have like 2 weeks of radio silence.
Okay, that's okay.
And then it's
Gundam,
the deck box, or it's like the boxes themselves. I'm actually getting confirmation on that later today.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Because I thought we were getting the whole set on the 11th.
Yeah, so do we. And then Twilly was like, "I don't know what's happening now." And I'm like, "Me either, bro."
So I'm gonna have to get in contact with our guys to figure out
hey,
what's going on with this? Is it coming out now? Are we getting it now? Or does it actually come out later on this month? I'm not actually sure.
I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, so
I don't even think Bandai knows.
I think it's kind of weird to have a starter deck release and then have a deck or have a booster box release 2 weeks later, and then a week after that is when they finally start doing tournament play. It doesn't start until August.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Do not watch that link right now, by the way. If you're on the podcast, just hang out.
Yeah, save it.
Save it for later. Save it for later. Obviously, we are way more important. You know what I mean? Disney is great, but Damascus Gaming is infinitely better.
Yes.
Because you get to play video games and TCG games.
Yes.
That's kind of where it said TCG games. Kind of like saying like trading card games.
Trading card games. Yes.
It's like saying cat card in the military.
Yes.
Your common access card.
Yes. Exactly.
Good times.
Everyone knows when you say TCGs, like they understand that.
Yes.
TCG trading card game. You know.
By the way, sir, if you would please, and everyone, look at the haircut. Look at how premium this is. Sir, if you would please turn your head slightly to the come on.
Wait,
there's the flank. Look at the flank. Oh.
He did it.
That's clean. I actually didn't get a haircut today myself because my hair's getting kind of crazy. It's kind of out of control. I'm losing.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's kind of wildness.
It's tough because we're here all the time, so it's hard to get out and go.
Who needs time off when you can be here at Damascus Gaming,
right,
having a great time?
We're here a lot.
That's what I'm saying. So, brother, I mean, I think it's kind of cool though. Like you also were able to kind of walk around, like I see, like all the Star Wars stuff. So this was your first time though at Disney, yes?
Yeah.
So
this is the first time I'd actually ever been there.
As a grown man, did it live up to the hype for you? If there are other people out there that are in their 30s and they have not seen Disney, should they go?
Well, see, to me, I think it was a little weird because I wasn't going for me. I was going for the kind of like family aspect of it. I get it. I didn't really, I wasn't super excited to go. When I got there, I mean, it's fun. Like, there's a lot of stuff I remember from when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not as exciting to see as like if I was like 10 or 12 or something. Like
Yeah, I
that.
agree.
You know, I feel like if I was much younger, I'd have been a lot more excited about going and seeing all the little things.
Yeah.
Because Disneyland is kind of weird in the fact that they do try to cater to both, you know, teenagers and younger children and stuff. And I mean, you could say older adults and stuff like that with certain rides, but a lot of the rides are tailored for kids.
100%. But this is also, this is why we talked about this earlier. If I had a choice between, because I've been to Disney World and I've been to Disneyland yet. I actually do want to go check that out.
It's pretty fun.
I've been to Disney World several times. But I will say that Universal to me is just way better. And that's coming from me as an adult, because for me, when I go to an amusement park, I'm not now. As I say for us, I go for the rides. I love the rides. But what I will say is this: what Disney is outstanding at doing is taking you and transporting you into a whole new universe.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool because they're really selling.
Yeah, it was the thing that I really liked is when we went into different rides, you would see all of the different aspects of like the actual world. I thought it was pretty really cool to be able to go like, you know, hey, I've walked to a cave, or I've walked into a door or whatever, you know, and I am somewhere else. And it's kind of neat to see the amount of effort they put into it. Yeah. Universal. I mean, I wanted to go out to Universal, but
have you been to Universal?
No.
Oh, dude, that's a DG trip. We are 100%. All right. So this is the plan.
Who's going to run the store? Luis can run the store.
No. Well, yeah. So Luis can run the store. We are going to take his credit card. We're going to Universal. This is a great idea. I like this idea a lot. He is staring at me right now around the screen like, dude, you absolute dirtbag. It's fine. So we are 100% going to take his credit card and we're going to run.
We're going to go. They didn't have any Lorcana games
bounce.
There. He's going to cancel the card before we get there.
It might bounce, but it's fine. It will.
They didn't have anything with Lorcana there, at least not that I saw.
So, and this is where I am just absolutely, I'm not going to get too much into this though, because I'll go on another tangent, because I have a tendency of going on rants.
This is true. I remember this.
So Riftbound, let's talk about fantastic application experiences.
Oh, the TCG experience. Okay,
Riftbound.
Sure. Well, hang on.
Is awesome.
Before you do that, do you want to just talk about Lorcanas first? Because I think you have to have a comparison.
Okay.
And understanding the comparison.
Lorcana, they're basically in this phase right now of we need like every piece of information about you that we can possibly get our hands on. They want DNA, family ancestry, like the whole 9 yards, right? They are there to make sure that neither you nor anybody in at least 6 generations has gone to prison or even looked at the law enforcement in the wrong way. Riftbound is like, oh, hey, do you like card games? Yes, cool. You're good to go.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. So, but anyway, if you're applying this thing that like, it's actually funny because I've guys come in the store all the time. They're always like, hey, I want to do this myself. Like, how do I start my own like card shop or whatever? I tell them like, dude, like, it's not what you think it is. Like, this is not easy. There's a lot of things that go into this process. So, you know, when you're looking at the getting into organized play, they ask you, you know, basically like the basic stuff, right? You know, your business information. They ask you, you know, for like how many seats can you fit? You know, like what games you currently run, how many people come out for those games, et cetera, et cetera. And then it gets into the more in-depth stuff. They want pictures, they want videos, they want, you know, background checks or like whatever they want to do. And that changes across different like games. The issue that I have is that distribution also asks for 90% of the same stuff.
Yep.
You have to go through and explain, I do this and I do that. So for
those, the big thing is you actually have to provide pictures.
Yeah.
So before, like some games will ask you to provide pictures. Distribution, you have to provide pictures.
You have to, right? So, but my thing is, I think that Riftbound did this very, very well, is that Riftbound just goes, hey, do you have distribution? Which you have to have.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. They go, cool. And then how many seats do you have? That was the application.
Yeah.
That was it. Like there was no. It took me. I remember because I got it in and I was like, oh, because I literally texted Craig. I was like, Craig, we got it. And then I went to go like punch it in, and I was like, that's it, because it said like submitted. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. So for all those people out there that are happy and excited about Riftbound coming out, by the way, you heard it here first. We've actually already applied.
Yeah, we're working on it. So.
Well, I don't know.
But we're not working on it. They're working on it.
Yeah. So I don't know how long their application process is for everything.
A lot of people.
But there's a lot of people that are applying for the game. We've already put in orders for the game, and we're already part of like their newsletter and stuff as well. So we get updates for different things, and that's how we knew when to put in information for organized play. And with that, we also may get demo decks. We may get to actually demo the game before it comes out too. So there are a couple like perks for trying to get in as early as we are. But with that being said, that just confirms that we have already put that in. We're already in the process of doing it.
I will say this too, by the way, because I know that a lot of people from Riot Games are actually listening to this right now because we're just like on their radar. Guys, send us some free decks. Appreciate you.
What's up, Riot Games? That number 2.
They're definitely out there. You have to believe.
I'm just saying hi.
That's good.
I believe they're out there. That's why I said hi.
Yeah, right now I think our viewer count's at about probably 65,000 right now. It's pretty big. We are actually one of the most famous podcasts in the world, man. It's crazy.
It would be kind of crazy to be in that position. I know that we're not, but still.
No, we definitely are. I just learned that Damascus, no.
Wait, there is enough.
No, because it's unlimited points, so you can't do that. Sorry. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. There actually are no points. There are no points, so when you are the stream channel itself, you actually have unlimited points. You can just keep redeeming stuff.
He's under the streams.
That doesn't count.
So if we get a redemption from the stream,
if you get a redemption from Damascus Esports, it does not count. So sorry.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, I was like, who has the points? I want to see. I want to see those.
You have to actually earn the points. You can't. I
want to see the channel points.
Because if that were to happen, then every DJ streamer would be like, "Ooh, sweet," and just redeem like 1,000 times. Not happening. Sorry, that's been cut off. Nope. Nope.
I don't see the problem.
I'll tell you what, I will let it happen off of the DG production side if Rembo agrees to get soaked with me every single time. That is the only way that I'll let that happen. No, if we both get soaked at the same time. See, right there.
He's backing out already.
Yep, 100%. Called it.
Yep. That's all right. That's all right.
It's not as much fun for him if he's getting soaked too.
Yeah. I was like, it can't be me, by the way, Luis.
My wife has already said that she'll be the one soaking me.
He did back out, by the way. He says he didn't, but he absolutely did. Otherwise, he would have redeemed, by the way. Just so everybody knows.
Wife was like, I'm definitely being the one soaking. I'm like, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to be the one holding the camera, so I can't.
Yeah.
I also can't get soaked.
Lizzie has already volunteered for that position. She's like, I'm ready to go. She's ready to destroy me.
What about the pies?
Pies aren't happening.
Oh.
The pies were not put into play.
Well, what if we pie you and then dump water on you to get the pies off?
Because the channel points, it states that I will get soaked. Not I'll get pied.
But what if we add a channel point reward that says pied?
How about we add the channel point for you getting pied and I get soaked?
I don't really care. Like, I'm not worried about it. See, there's a difference. I'll let you guys, if that's what it is.
We need to do the pies too. Why does everybody want to hurt me?
Nobody wants to hurt you.
Yes, they do. No, they really do. There's a lot of ingrained rage in the chat. I like key lime pie, so I don't like it being smushed into my face.
What if they go to hit you with the pie and you eat the pie while they do it? I mean, you're going to get a little bit on your face, but what if you eat like the majority of it as they pie you?
But that's a lot of whipped cream, sir.
Okay, that's fair. No worries.
Yeah, key lime pie is the best pie. Period. No, okay. Hold on. So, give me this weird thing. So, what is the best pie for you?
If I was picking a pie, I would probably do a pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie is pretty good.
To be honest with you,
that is a pretty good. I'll give you that one. Pumpkin pie is pretty, but it has to be made right.
You've not ever got to try one of my peanut butter pies either. So
peanut butter pie, I think I'll pass her. Thank you though.
No, see, this is where you're wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is where you're wrong. Peanut butter pie.
There are 3 correct choices when it comes to pie.
What is the other 2?
So you have pumpkin pie is very, very good. Okay. Key lime pie is my favorite though. I love key lime pie. and then apple pie. A very good tart
pie.
apple pie is delicious. See, to me, this is my personal opinion, pie is better than cake.
Yeah, I like pie
I will
more
tear
than
up
cake.
pie over cake every day of the
Well,
week.
I mean, I can't even eat cake unless I have some ice cream with it.
Yeah,
I don't like. I just don't like.
But see, then,
unless it's like super
but see, then
moist
once
cake.
again, if you put ice cream with pie, it's
Oh,
goated.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
goated. You can't
well,
even.
there-
That's what I'm saying.
to me,
there's
there's only
really
certain
no
pies.
time you're gonna eat cake. Like if you have a choice between pie and cake, you're choosing pie every time.
Well, there's only
Do you
certain
want cake and ice cream, or
pies-
do you want pie and ice cream?
I think there's only certain pies that you can have with ice cream. Though.
Yeah,
I
like
don't think every
apple.
pie. Yeah, apple pie and vanilla ice cream is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think you'd actually would do ice cream with key lime pie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not every pie can have.
Yeah, that's fair.
But every cake can have ice cream.
I don't do cake. Man. I'm not a cake guy. I'm not a cake guy.
They have so much ice cream with cake that they made ice cream cake,
Yes.
which is the ultimate cake.
So that's very good cake. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, that's the ultimate cake.
I used to really enjoy ice cream cake until it started costing $1,000 for a cake.
I don't know about all that now.
Oh, it's expensive as crap. Have you seen ice cream cakes now? They're like
Yeah.
$30.
It's worth it. I've seen them for like 16, so I don't know where you're getting them from. Depends on where you're getting them from, I guess.
Well, it's also, are you getting the cheap, horrible crap, or are you getting the really, really good stuff?
I mean, we're talking about price here now. So if you're saying, "Hey, we want to get the best ice cream cake," then it needs to be.
I like ice cream cake. I don't like cardboard ice cream cake.
I'm just saying, like, if you go to like Dairy Queen or something like that,
By the way,
you can get like.
speaking of prices, by the way, actually, I do want to talk about this real fast because I was flabbergasted at this yesterday.
Okay. What were you flabbergasted?
This is crazy. So we were at Albertsons buying eggs. It's like $9 for a carton of eggs. 9 doll hairs, people.
I guess it's time to get a different breakfast option.
It's insane, dude. $9 for 12 eggs. That's almost $1 per egg.
You want ice cream cake for your birthday next month?
Possibly. Why would you tell everyone that my birthday's next month? That's not true. It's fake.
Not like
That's
we
a
didn't
lie.
already know.
No, it's not next month. What are you talking about? That's crazy. Why is she making stuff up? That's wild. My birthday is not next month, people. Don't fact check it either because you'll
Luis,
find that it's true.
Luis, we're running fact checks right now.
We're not running fact checks. No, we're not.
We're running fact checks right
it's
now.
not-
When
you
is
can't-
it? When is the date?
The only way,
24th. Okay. Yeah.
the-
See, there you
the
go.
only
August
way-
24th.
the only way you can prove that, because this is my thing, right? This could be a ruse I put out for people.
You think you want me to get your birth certificate?
Yeah, go for it. Try to pull that from the public records. You can't do it, by the way.
No, but I can sure take your driver's license.
You know something? They name streets after people like you. One way.
Oh yeah, no, they already did. It's Carrington. It's on Fort Bliss.
Actually, that's true. There's
Yeah,
a road
there's
called
a-
Carrington.
I was gonna say, yeah, they did.
They named it right after him. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So, brother, dude, this is something I actually want to talk about a little bit today because
Okay.
I'm curious if you have seen this.
Okay.
According to Google, average ice cream cake costs $40, and Moodle's B-Day is on the 24th. One of those things is true. I'll let you guess which one. Anyway,
It's clearly the 24th because the average of $40 is ridiculous. Where are we getting this from? California? Did we get them?
California.
Did we get them
Moved
from
to El Paso is way
Disneyland?
better here.
I just say, did we get the ice cream cake from
The
Disneyland?
Googles.
I understand. Well, you have to think
Everything from Disney's more expensive, dude.
national average is.
Actually, question for you, Russ. How much was a average hamburger at Disney World? At
Well,
Disneyland.
I didn't get a hamburger, to be fair. Most items that I saw were around the $10 mark.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Actually.
And that's for like small things. Like if you got a hot dog, it's $10. If you actually got like something decent, you're looking probably about $14, $15, and then
Still
it
not
ranged
as
up
horrible
from
as it could
there.
be. Dairy
Yeah, that's
Queen.
why I was saying 25
Yeah,
to 45. I was
yeah.
going to say like they're not $40. I do understand that though, because the national average for certain things is a lot higher than what it is in maybe in your area. Because like the national average for pay is actually you know, higher than certain areas in the U.S. Just like the national average for rent or mortgage is higher in certain areas. So
Yeah, that's true. So actually, what's kind of funny though is when I was growing up, we had a restaurant, which I don't even know if they have them around anymore, but it was called Friendly's, and my family and I would go there.
Never heard of
once in a
this
while.
before in my life.
Yeah, it's an ice cream and restaurant, but it's like a parlor.
Interesting.
They had dope ice cream cakes. And their ice cream was delicious too.
I just miss going to
Friendlies. I have to look this up.
I just miss going to Steak and Shake.
Dude.
That's the only thing that sucks. I don't get to go to Steak and Shake anymore.
Steak and Shake was so good.
That was
There is one down in Pensacola.
one of the East Coast specials, you know.
Yes, it's just so
It's
good.
the East Coast special.
You'll get fat on Steak and Shake.
No kidding. I did get to go to In-N-Out though, and I'm not a big In-N-Out fan, but I will say that they actually did very good this last time that I went. I've been to In-N-Out I think 3 times in my life, maybe 4. The first 2 times I was like, this is not anything special, and I wasn't a big fan. And then the last time I went, it was pretty decent.
Still around.
And then the very last time I went, I was like, okay, hey,
See? Look,
it's pretty good.
Friendlies. See?
Interesting.
1935.
Oh,
There it is.
1935.
Friendlies is awesome. It was a great place. It was kind of dirty though.
Oh, he's
it
old.
Still tasted great. Anyway, no. So let's get into the
Confirmed.
topic today because I want to talk about this a
Okay,
little bit.
let's talk about real things.
Let's get into some controversy.
What's the controversy?
Stop killing games.
I heard about this.
I know you've seen news on this.
I've heard about it.
Did you hear that it passed?
No,
It passed. Yes, it did. So a little bit of a background.
Yeah.
To kind of lay the groundworks, right?
Yeah. Explain to the average viewer
So
what it is.
About a year ago, a gentleman named Ross started up an initiative. It's called Stop Killing Games.
Yeah.
And basically what he wanted to do is very, very simple, is he wanted publishers and developers to stop killing games. So what he wants is that when a game sunsets, that basically the developers hand over, the code or basically make it so where the game is playable at the end of its life.
Yeah.
That or just be, more transparent with, what they're offering, right? And I'm sure we can all agree with this because like the reality is right now, as a consumer, a lot of developers will go out there and tell you like, hey, like you're not actually buying a game, you're buying a license to own a game.
Yep.
Or to borrow a game.
You're borrowing
and that
a game.
license can be revoked at any time for any reason whatsoever. Like Blizzard has that in a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will give Blizzard credit on is that my personal opinion, like World of Warcraft is a subscription based model. So you're not actually buying anything.
Yeah. You're subscribing to play the game.
Like you do buy some things in the game, but
well, we're talking
anyway.
about the actual game itself,
Yeah,
not.
but anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm giving a very, very basic interpretation of Stop Killing Games. There's a lot more to it. Please go check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the base premise though is that hey, we want developers to stop killing games. We want to be able to play the games that we enjoy. We're not asking you to keep a server going for us or whatever. We want you to give us the ability to keep a game going.
Yeah.
If the community wants to be able to play it.
Yeah.
Which I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean,
it's a good thing.
The thing is with all content starting to become digital, it's very easy for a developer, publisher, whatever, to go and put a game out, let it run for a year and a half. It stops making money after that year and a half. And instead of continuing to leave like the servers open, because that does have a cost to them. And I understand the reason why they want to cut the game because they're not making money off of the game anymore. It's costing them more to run the servers, etc. They'll cut the game. And then what ends up happening is the game that you are playing, because nowadays a lot of games are online and they're supported online only. Like you can buy the game, you can play a single player version.
Yeah.
But you're actually online. You're on their server while you're doing it. And when they decide that they're going to close those servers, you actually lose access to the game.
Yeah.
Even if you're I'm just playing single player. I don't want to play online. I never intended to play online. Maybe you, like, for example, say you're playing Xbox and you're playing, or PlayStation and you're playing on their online platform, and you decide that you want to stop paying for their online platform. In some cases, you actually just lose the access to the game in general. And so it's tough to, see what, it's tough to say, hey, I'm going to buy this game and then not actually be able to get anything out of it.
So and that's something that I think is actually like good, and I do want to talk about this a little bit about Stop Killing Games, because like it caused a lot of controversy because Thor, also known as Pirate Software Online, he made 2 videos that about 10 months ago. And those videos kind of got brought back up because what ended up happening is that, Thor basically came out, misinterpreted a lot of what Stop Killing Games was. And he did have a pretty damaging effect. I know that he says he didn't really have a damaging effect. He definitely did. He had a pretty good amount of reach, and he killed a lot of the conversation around it. What's insane now is that the conversation restarted up about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And all these major influencers, you're seeing guys like PewDiePie, Asmongold, Jacksepticeye, these major guys, like even Markiplier, I think did it. Major influencers were talking about it, and it just jump started this whole thing, and they hit their marks. So now it's official. There's going to be a conversation now. So
you
this
said
is over on the EU side.
You said at the beginning of this, you said it passed.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
So basically, in order for a petition to reach, now keep in mind, I do not understand European law, so I'm sure Luis will be fact checking me. Actually, Luis, please be fact checking me on this stuff because it's kind of important.
Give us the gist. It doesn't have to be exact.
Yeah. So
give us the gist.
In case I mess up, Luis, please fact check me. So basically, in order for a petition to reach certain levels across the countries of the EU, you have to reach a certain amount of signers. For this, they were trying to hit 1 million. In order for it to reach, I believe it's 7 different countries. I believe I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
So it's stagnated around, I want to say like 600,000 or 700,000.
Yeah.
For months, and then this last push, it hit. They're at 1.3 last that I checked.
Nice,
which is pretty good.
So what you're saying is, it's
not
for the average Joe Schmo out there. It didn't pass any specific.
There's no laws. There's no
anything,
laws.
But it's going to be. It's going to be looked at.
Talked about.
It's
so
actually looked at.
This is. Yes.
It grants. Luis said it grants a meeting.
Yes.
That's what he said.
So the best way that I can describe it, right? And actually, it's kind of funny because I'm using like the military lingo here, right? So it's like going through selection, right?
Yeah.
Getting through selection does not mean you're in a unit. It means that you've earned the right to train to go into said unit. You can still be dropped at any time. Yeah. What this has done for Stop Killing Games is put it in front of people that are now going to discuss it. They're going to be able to decide, hey, does this have merit? And then they will discuss, hey, are we going to pass laws? Right. Are we going to make adjustments? Are we going to do different things? This is not one of those things that, because I've seen people online that have said, oh my goodness, this is it. Like,
right.
Developers have to stop doing this now. Yeah. No. This can take years to pass.
It probably will too.
And it's probably going to.
It probably will too.
What Stop Killing Games is doing though is it's stopping the predatory issues that have been happening. It's just a reality, man. Like, unfortunately, a lot of developers they do have very predatory things when it comes to consumers. Like, you look at, just being real with you, Blizzard. Yep. Blizzard has a TOS that you sign for any of the games that you play. Yep. And it says they can revoke your access to their game for any reason or for no reason.
Yeah,
that is the lingo that they use.
A lot of people said that with the Nintendo as well.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch 2, being like if you mod it or change anything on it, they can revoke it.
And not only can they revoke access to your games, they can brick your console with no. So not only do you technically not own the software, you don't really even own your hardware, because if you brick the software on Nintendo Switch, it just becomes useless. Then you just have
an unplayable thing.
So I'm actually,
if you're not doing anything, if you're not doing anything wrong, and you're not trying to mod it, or you're not, these things are very unlikely to happen. Yes. And for the average person, like I heard this about the Switch 2 a lot when it was coming out. Everybody's like, I'm not getting a Switch 2 because they're just going to brick my console. I'm like, if you're not attempting to mod your game, look, if you're trying to steal all of the games, you're trying to emulate all of the games for Nintendo and put it on your Switch 2, you're at risk.
Yep.
You're at risk. Yeah. If they catch you, they're gonna break your console. It's just, that's how it is. That's what they're trying to prevent. If you're an average guy like myself, I'm just trying to play the new Zelda. I'm trying to play the new Mario, but I don't care. I'm not trying to mod the console. I'm not trying to do anything outside of its means. I'm not gonna get hit for anything.
Yeah.
Or very unlikely, I guess.
Also, but there's something that I will also bring up, and I know people are probably going to be like, dude, that's kind of crazy. But my personal standpoint on this is too, when it comes to modding, right?
Yeah.
I believe if you're accessing an online service, hardware developers, like Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, whatever,
Yeah.
They have the right to protect their online integrity.
Right.
Because right now, like when you look at like online multiplayer, for example, cheating and things have gone like overdrive.
Yeah.
So like in preventing people from tampering or modifying hardware, it helps them prevent cheating happening.
Well,
right.
It also is one of those things like they want to protect like their name too. You don't want to be buying something that you think you're going to get hacked the second you turn it on.
Facts. But what I will say is this, though, right? So, and it's something that I do think is kind of crazy is that it's one thing to say, hey, if you mod a console, you do X, Y, Z, right, we're going to take you offline.
Yeah.
It's something else entirely to say, hey, I'm going to brick your console.
Yeah.
I will say this, like if I'm going to buy a console, let's say that I wanted to mod it because I want to play single player games with I want to play them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going online, there should be no reason why my console gets bricked.
Yeah.
Now, if you're modding your console to go cheat online, then yes, you should lose online access. You should never be able to log into services again on that console.
Yeah.
Because you're putting that integrity question up, which is the big issue that people have, when you look at things, like with like PC, which, of course I'm a PC gamer.
Yeah.
But PCs, you can modify whatever you want to modify because there is no set standard. So you can do whatever the heck you want to do.
This is the part I think that you're missing on that because I disagree with you on one thing there.
Okay.
If you're modding a console at all and you're trying to get access, and this is a very specific thing, okay?
Yes.
So if you're trying to gain access to something that you don't own,
oh no, that's true. That's
you
stealing.
are stealing.
That's stealing.
And
that's
that's
different.
why they're actually bricking your console.
No, and that makes sense. And that makes
Now,
sense.
if you're modding online games, they're also able to brick your console. So they left their verbiage in a way that says,
True.
if you are messing with it at all, they can brick you, which
That's
is fair.
That's fair.
Because you don't ever want to have a loophole where somebody's like, well, I actually fell within your terms of service. I modded your console, but I was within your terms of services because I didn't do X, Y, and Z. So therefore, I have a lawsuit. So
That's fair.
what they do is they say, if you touch it at all, in any way, in any capacity, you've messed with it in any way, we can break your console.
That's
which
fair.
to me, I think is a very fair way to say, like, don't mess around. If you mess around, if you F around, find out.
Yeah.
If
So-
that's what you want to do, then go for it. But for the most part, that's not an issue with most people.
I do want to bring this up too, because I think this is kind of crazy. And actually, you brought up that first part. I want to kind of wrap this around a little bit because I heard a lot of this coming up over the past couple of weeks since this has really gotten back into the mainstream of conversation.
Yeah.
People are saying if buying is not owning, right? Because you're renting games because of the licenses, right?
Right.
Piracy isn't stealing.
Yeah, I heard that one before too. It's like, guys, we're trying to make up stuff as they go.
Don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, they're just trying to make stuff up. They're trying to have an argument against, the thing is at the end of the day, if you're pirating a game, you are stealing it.
You are stealing it.
You're
And
stealing the game.
This is the way that I'm going to say this, right? So, and to look at it from this perspective, okay? If I buy a gym membership, I am purchasing a license to go to that gym.
Yeah.
Okay. The gym can kick me out at any time if I'm being unsafe, if I'm being toxic for whatever reason, right? This is all in their contracts, right? If they decide to sever, because remember, I believe it was actually Asmongold brought this up. He said, if a developer revokes your access to a game, they should refund you your money. I disagree with that entirely because this is my thing, right? I purchased a product, which is a gym membership, right, to go work out for a set period of time. I don't own the gym.
Right.
I don't own the right to be in the gym. I've purchased a rental to use that space for a set period of time. I agree with the fact that I think a lot of developers are being very predatory. There's a lot of extremely vague language in there. The fact that, I think everybody would agree, right? If you get caught cheating, if you get caught, being toxic in community or like things like that, right? And you get banned off a game.
Yeah.
You got banned for a reason. I think we can all agree with that. I think what Stop Killing Games is really arguing is, hey, this is the reality, right? We just want developers to stop going, okay, cool, the game's been out for like a year and a half, sunset it.
Yeah.
Everyone loses
Getting that,
access. screw you. Well, hey, dude, I bought this game. I want to be able to play it.
Well, and this is something like I'll bounce off of this because the Asmongold thing that you mentioned, I believe the context wasn't if you get the game revoked for cheating, you get your money back, or if you get caught modding, you get your money back. The idea was if they close the game, and you are an active player with no fault, and they're closing the game, they refund you. Yeah. I think that was the actual quote.
No, and that I would also agree with too. It's the thing that I look at when it comes to all this stuff is that this is something that's going to be talked about a lot. Yeah, which is one of the things that I think is absolutely insane when it came to what Thor was saying. Pirate Software.
I didn't ever get to see what he said about it.
Oh, dude, he went off. He was saying things like, "This is way too vague." I not only am I not going to support this, I'm going to actively oppose this. I'm going to get people to not sign it. He went off. He really did. I know he's trying to do a little bit of damage control. Saying that he wasn't doing that type of stuff, but he was. You can go watch the video. It's still live. It was very, very toxic. The issue when you look at all that stuff, right, is and this is where it kind of comes down to people are saying he's an industry plant and whatnot. There's a reason why the verbiage in Stop Killing Games is vague. It's not a law.
Yeah.
Right? This is a petition. They're saying we would like for these things to be visited.
Right.
They're not.
It's kind of the same thing that
they have no say over if the law gets passed or what verbiage is put into the law. You can put whatever you want to put into a petition.
Yeah.
It does not mean that the lawmakers are going to go, oh, yeah, okay, we'll put this in verbatim. No. They're going to go, okay, cool. We're going to look at these things. Okay, what can we reasonably put in to protect consumers while maintaining, the autonomy of businesses or whatever. Those things have to be, kind of open source for a reason.
It's
you
the
can't
same
just
thing
close it off.
with the Nintendo thing saying going backwards, making the motion that they're saying very vague because then it covers everything and they can do it however they want. Yeah. In this case, because we're looking to get something passed, we're vague because we're not telling them specifically, you might get what you want and get the specific, but it didn't actually hit the key issue and they continue to screw people over for years.
Yeah. So I
leave it open.
To me, what I think that needs to be done, what I would love to see happen, in if a law gets passed, I would like to see really two things. One, developers being a lot more transparent, and publishers too, being a lot more transparent on what exactly you are getting.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a lot more transparency. So, when you look at TOSs, let's just be real, nobody besides probably Luis sits down and reads an entire TOS. Okay. If you've got time to read 65 pages of a TOS, man, great for you. Dude, I'm not trying to do that. Okay.
I usually go to the section that tells what you can't do.
Yes, right.
So I know there are certain games that you can play that you actually can mod them and they don't care.
Yeah, 100%. Right. But I would like to see more transparency. Okay. Yeah. You are buying a game, or you're buying a license or whatever.
Yeah.
We are guaranteeing it from this date to this date.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Right. That's stuff that I would like to see.
I think one of the big things here, when you talk about the European legislation, I believe it was in Europe when this happened too, because I believe that I believe that with it getting the petition, it's going to get passed, and I'll tell you why. I believe it was Europe who started it. I know it was overseas. I don't know if it was Europe or not. But anyway, they passed a thing about loot boxes.
Yes.
And that was in the past,
they are
2 or 3
protecting.
years.
So Europe's a lot more stringent. Actually, and it's funny because I've heard a lot of people say, why would the United States care about what Europe has to say? This is a reality. You look at when Microsoft was buying Activision and Blizzard, they literally stopped that for months. There was a lot of things that they had to compromise on to get that through. Yeah. So trust me, the European Commission has a lot of
Not only that, there are games that come from Europe, in case if you guys didn't know that.
So, but no, and that's what I'm saying. I think that this is going to go hopefully in a really, really good direction. And my other thing is too, is that if you're buying a game, this is my point too, that's my first topic. The other thing is buying a game, them actually having a plan to sunset it, right? Gamers just want to be able to play their games, man. That's what we want. Like and this is the thing, like I understand,
Louis said Rockstar's European.
Yeah, it is. If you are a gamer, you have favorite games. You have games that you enjoy. There's a lot of games I played back when I was a kid. I don't have access to those games anymore.
Yeah. But if you did have them, you could still play them.
I could still play them. And that's the point.
Yeah.
I'm not out there going, oh, it's gone forever. I can go buy a cartridge right now, slap it in my N64, and I can play that game again.
Exactly. Yeah.
The issue is that now, I go back and I look at games, that I played in recent years that have been shut down. You can't play those anymore. Yeah. They're gone.
They're just completely gone. Yeah.
And the thing that I think the Pirate Software missed was that people were sitting there saying like he was under the impression for whatever reason that gamers wanted developers to just keep running these games in perpetuity.
Yeah.
No, it's like, look, we understand the fact if people are no longer actively playing a game at certain numbers, you're losing money as a company. That's not what they're asking for. What they're saying is there's no reason for you to sunset off a game with no recourse for the community to not keep that game going.
Yeah.
We've seen iterations of that, right? So like you look back at like Modern Warfare 2, the OG Modern Warfare 2. There was a project where they were basically like making that game playable again because the current and actually Rambo, that's what I'm talking about. So that's one of the arguments for stop killing games.
Yeah,
just open source it. Pass the code off to the community so that they can keep running it.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things that the community wants. The argument that because I know what a lot of developers and publishers are going to say is that, we're giving away a lot of our trade secrets and whatnot. You're not necessarily doing that and I understand the argument of there might be things in the code that they don't want put out in public. Here's the reality, dude. Look at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas as a perfect example of this. So there was a mod that came out. It's called Hot Coffee. I'm sure you remember this.
I actually don't.
Okay. Well, in the original creation of San Andreas, the creators of Grand Theft Auto, they wanted video games to be treated more like movies, right? So
that's fair.
There's sex scenes in movies, people. Surprise.
Oops.
Sex scenes in video games would automatically give a game an A+ rating.
See, so now I know what you're talking about because I remember. I just didn't know what the mod was called. I know what you're talking about now.
So what ended up happening is that when San Andreas hit PC for the first time, because they were going to release this as a patch down the road, they're going to go, hey, we already got the game sold out, so they were expecting it to go to adult. Well, here's the issue. Within a couple of months, people found it, and they unlocked it in the game.
Yeah.
And the ESRB went, and it was everywhere because they would. So, but the reason why I'm saying that is people already have access to your code. The second you can run a game on a PC, people already have full access to it.
Yeah, they can pull your source code. The thing is like this is the thing.
So it's already been hacked to like 1,000 times. Like, come on.
This is the thing too. Is when it comes to this, I don't mind them releasing the source code. Isn't necessarily the end all be all here.
Yeah.
Every game can have essentially what it would be is whenever you play any particular game that is online, right?
Yep.
There is a server side. Typically, it's the host server is the server that is being used by the company. So if you log into, an Activision like Call of Duty, right? You're not the server. Nope. You're logging into their, server to access the game, right?
They have dedicated servers.
They have dedicated servers, right? So one of the big arguments that I would make for them is that server would no longer be there. It would be archived into a master archive that is owned by, technically you would say, the government at that point, I would guess. And instead of having it open or unlock, you're getting something server side. When you play the game, you are the host. You are the server. And they used to do this stuff for all of these old games where you could do, you had to jump into somebody's game through IP address to connect to them. This has been around for years.
Or just do what Halo used to do back in the day, which is stop doing dedicated servers and let games, like, you know what I mean? Like, we had plenty of times, like back in Halo 3.
I disagree with that, by the way.
Why?
Because dedicated servers actually help prevent ways of people duplicating like items in game. They make it to where you don't experience lag. So like, for example, if I'm the host and you are joining me and you're let's say I'm in California and you're in New York, you're going to have ping where I do not.
Oh, I know. 100%.
And so like, because you're connecting to me and we're across the United States, that's one of the reasons why they put dedicated servers in.
I understand that entirely, and I get it, and I understand.
But
this is what I want to say is that I think a lot of people in today's generation did not get to experience the fun of host migration.
Well, I think the thing
you
is,
have no idea. No, but you have no idea how awesome it is when you're playing an online matchmaking experience.
Yeah.
And the host quits.
Yeah.
And then the game host migrates for like 5 minutes.
Right.
And you're stuck in this black screen with this little swirly little because it's going like, oh, hey, by the way, and you are stuck. And by the way, if you quit the game, it still penalizes you because you're so I want to bring back, because I feel like the youth of today have experienced this awesomeness, which is called dedicated servers, which is great. I want to see people suffer with host migration because they just don't know what it means, dude.
I just think that whenever they sunset a game and they're actually going to close it out, that they should stop doing the dedicated server and make it to where you are getting your own server when you join the game.
Facts.
That's
nice.
Would be my only argument with
nice.
it. The thing is like, I don't what I would have a hard time knowing is how would they keep the original client available? And I would assume that it would be backed up to a cloud.
But this is my thing, right?
But then somebody has to own the cloud, somebody has to still maintain the cloud.
This is why I say, like, for me, the best way to do this, open source it, let the community run their own servers, do what they want to do. Like there's enough people out for certain games that they would keep these games going.
I mean, that closes the loop for the developers as well.
It's sunset the game out, do what you got to do. We understand the fact you can't keep doing it because you're going to be losing money. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But pass the game off. Let the community run it. We have a lot of creative people that play video games that will keep that thing going forever. And I really want to see this come back. So like, that's my thing. I think Stop Killing Games is a great initiative. I think it's going to cause some really good conversations. I think that Pirate Software, unfortunately, had a bit of a hot take about 10 months ago. And this is the thing about the internet, man. You say something. Like, I know that he was like, I said this like 10 months ago. Why are people coming back and hit me now? That's the internet.
Yeah.
People are going to come back like and catch you up on dumb crap you said back in the day, and they're going to light you up for it. Like, that's just culture today. So when you put out a take like that, be prepared. And I'll say this too, by the way, like, I understand why he's saying what he's saying. Like, I think people missed a big part of this.
Yeah.
The reason why he's so against Stop Killing Games is he's a game developer, y'all.
Yeah.
You got to think about it.
You also have to think of it from this perspective too. If you don't fully understand something, or you don't know all the ins and outs of something, you may have an opinion, right? And 10 months later, something new information has come out and your opinion may change. I think
his didn't change.
I think that's the thing with him.
He tripled down.
He continued to say like, no.
Oh yeah. No, 100%. But this is my thing, though, right? Because when you look at his games, because I'm pretty sure I saw this, like, he actually has a couple of DRM features in his games.
Yeah.
So that would also cause an issue with compatibility down the road, right? If you wanted to sunset one of those games. So I find it interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, he's an industry plant. I think that's kind of far-reaching, dude. I don't know about that one. That's kind of crazy.
The big thing to him, and to give him a little bit of credit as well, is whenever a game gets sunsetted and they close it out, right? Hands are off. Like, I don't need to mess with it anymore. I don't have to do anything with it anymore. It's closed down. It's kind of like this location, right? If in 5 years we decided we're going to move on to something different, we don't want to continue to do this, but we still have to keep it going because like that's what you're supposed to do as a business, you know? You have to keep it going for the people who really loved your store. I can understand where he's coming from in the aspect that like you still have to support that even after it's done and gone. But that's not the idea behind stop killing games.
It's not at all.
That's not the idea. Like, we want you to rid your hands of it and be done with it. Yes. We still want to be able to access the game that we paid for.
Yeah, that's all that it is. And I don't understand why it's such a hard thing to say. But like, and this is my thing too. It's like the part that I will say that I think Thor just absolutely just screwed up on epically. Like, it's one thing to have an opinion.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have an opinion. Right. Like that's
we have had opinions today.
100%. I probably have hot takes all the time. Okay?
Well, we have had opinions today.
Yes.
Whether they're hot or not.
100%. But what I will say is educate yourself and at least look into things before you talk about it, because that was one of the biggest things I think that really got him was a lot of the misinformation that he put out came back to bite him, because a lot of things that he said, like, oh, this and that, and I don't like this part, and I don't like that part, it wasn't true. Right. And it got disproven rapidly.
Yeah.
And instead of him coming out and being like, "Oh, hey, my bad, y'all. Like, I still don't like the initiative.
Right.
I didn't understand these parts of it." And that's unfortunately where, the ego shows up. And
I mean, you can always have an opinion and then be like, you know what? Actually, I disagreed with what I once said. And you can say that. You can be like, hey,
changed my opinion on so much stuff, dude. How
many
many times have I been wrong in a week?
A lot.
But
you can have an opinion. You can have an opinion. And this is not the bad part. I don't mind that he had an opinion. And like I said, when we originally started talking about it, I didn't get to see what he did 10 months ago. I didn't actually see his original opinion. I saw what he has re-said now, where he's like, oh, I didn't do that. I didn't do this. And people are like, yeah, you did. And here's the video. Here's your video.
Yeah, that's the hard part, dude.
Like, so it's not, I think he's getting a lot of the backlash, not because his opinion didn't change or it did change or whatever. It's the fact that he won't recognize that he did do something that.
But once again, this goes back to the original. So like, and this is so funny. I'm actually talking about this like on air. This is so crazy. The Roach issue. Because we saw this
I knew
video,
he was going to say it.
Right?
I knew he was going to say it.
So my opinion from what I have seen, right? Yep. Now that I've played World of Warcraft a little bit with you and me and things, and by the way, I'm nowhere near an expert. I played probably
he's like
20 hours.
Less than 20.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
He's less than level 20. And Classic, by the way.
I am a noob.
Well, you have to put it in terms, because if you play less than 20 hours, like I played less than 10 hours yesterday and almost got max level on a character.
Okay,
because it's quick to level these days. Yeah. Understand that he's playing Classic. So when we say that he was like level 15, that's still close to like 10, 15 hours worth of play.
Yes.
But anyway, continue.
But anyway, so I was one of the few people that was like actually slightly defending him, because I was like, hey, the call run was made.
Yeah.
You dip out, because when you make a call to run in World of Warcraft, you're actively using mana and abilities to get out of there quicker. That's what he had done.
Yeah.
The problem that I have is that instead of having any empathy and being like, oh, hey, we could have done these things better. Oh, hey, I could have made a better decision.
Yeah.
Because nobody plays perfectly.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I was perfect. You guys were idiots. And he stayed on that point. And that's what got him all the flack. It wasn't the fact, look, people are always going to come back and look at you and go, hey, like you should have done this better, like or like that better. When you're playing a game, especially when you put in that amount of hours into a run, it's hard. And when you die in hardcore, that's it. Like your character's gone.
I think that's one of the contexts that you missed when you were talking about it. They were max level characters.
Yeah,
it's
hard.
They've been playing for, days and days and days. If your character dies, you lose your character.
Yes.
But he's also playing. There is a part of that statement that you said that even I agree with. When the call run away is made, it's time to run. It's time to go. It's time to get out.
You don't stop and go back and fight. You leave.
But here's the problem with what happened. He was playing on a mage, and mages have the highest utility in slowing down monsters and keeping them off of other teammates. And instead of using what mana he had available to slow down the enemies, to freeze them, because he was playing as an ice mage as well, by the way. Yeah. It wasn't just he wasn't playing a fire mage or whatever, or arcane mage. He was playing ice, the best of the best for slowing down enemies. Instead of helping his team escape he ran with his tail tucked. Now, understanding how this works, if you're raid lead or you're group lead or whatever, it says, hey, we're in trouble. It's time to get out of here.
Yep.
We need to run. As a mage, as somebody who has less threat on the table,
Yep.
because the way that the game works is if you have a certain amount of aggression to the monsters, if your aggression is the highest of all of the players, they will attack you. So the way that the game worked is the tank was the one that was taking all of the threat.
The tank was dead no matter what happened, dude.
He was going to get hit. Actually, he would have survived too. That's the problem here. If Pirate would have stepped up and used used Frost Nova or Blizzard, he would have slowed them down.
So from my understanding, because actually Asmongold broke this down actually in like super like in depth, the mobs that were coming after them was actually immune to Nova and things like that.
Yes,
so
some of them were.
Now I do agree with you on that though, because there is a part of this though, right? And I did want to add this in. Like the boss was immune.
I think there was but the thing was the boss was immune, but there were packs that were with them immune. That were not. But they were freely attacking. That's what the problem was.
And this was the issue that like ran into it, was that instead of just coming out and saying like, hey, you like guys are right, I could have done a couple of things to kind of help you guys get out of there. You know,
even if it was a failed attempt.
Even if it was failed, at least try. Like the issue that happened was that there was no accountability held.
Yeah.
And this is one of the biggest problems that I have when it comes to people in general, when it comes to like when they make a mistake, is that instead of being like, hey, I was wrong, I apologize, hey guys, like yada yada, they just double, triple, you know, hey, and now I'm actually adding in Thor's audio for what do you want me to do for you to the stream for esports. So that was hilarious. But no, it's have accountability for yourself. That's all we're saying. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, look, people make mistakes. Like the reality is, and by the way, like going back and like watching that raid, because the issue was,
it was just a dungeon, by the way.
When you, when you watch how many packs they started pulling, and there were a lot of accidental pulls.
Yeah.
The entire thing just got chalked very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. I'm not going to speak a whole lot on it because I'm not a World of Warcraft hardcore player. Obviously, I would get my absolute butt wrecked. Because Craig over here has seen me go into an area, and then he's like, "Did you grab the thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I grabbed the thing." He's like, "Dan,
no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Grab the thing.
Go
please.
back. Well, we have to go
back.
You
have to go all the way back now to get that thing you did not pick up." And I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
But
I do enjoy World of Warcraft.
The thing with that specific scenario, you know, was that there were things that could have been done, and if he would have done them, and everyone still would have died, then at least he could have said, "I did everything that I could have done to get everyone out. Even if you didn't make it, it would have just been one of those bad scenarios kind of thing."
Yeah.
But the thing is when you don't attempt it, and then you try to defend the fact that, well, actually, I didn't. Like, one of the big arguments that he had was he had no mana left over. It's kind of silly to say that I have no mana left over when you have video proof that you do.
Yeah.
You know, you could double back and go, I thought I was lower on mana. I didn't realize I had as much mana as I did. I made a mistake by backing out, thinking I didn't have the mana that I actually had. But to say that I didn't have it at all, and then say, no, I actually didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And you're looking at the video where you clearly do. That's the problem.
Yep.
And Asmongold mentioned this in his video as well, because I did watch his video on that. There were some of the monsters that were immune.
Yeah.
But let's put it in perspective. If you're getting hit by 10 monsters and you're taking 50 to 100 damage a monster, right? And one of the bosses is hitting you for like 200 damage. So you're getting hit for like 800 damage every a second or two, right? Or I could slow half of them to get them off the tank. And even if they are immune, this is the problem. Even if they are immune, that's fine. I take that number 10 down to like 3.
Yeah.
So instead of taking 800 damage a second, I'm now taking 300 damage a second or 200 damage a second, drastically dropping everything.
Yeah.
And it's not even him as well. There were other members of his team that also didn't help, like their rogue didn't help. Besides the point.
Yeah, 100%.
Besides the point. The thing is that when you've made the mistake and you've been given the evidence that you've made the mistake and you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, my mind has changed on this idea. And you go and say, yeah, that was my bad, my mistake. And it's the same thing with the Stop Killing Games. When you've made a comment and your comment is wrong.
Yeah.
And you know it's wrong because now you're trying to make information about that. Like you're like, oh, I didn't say that. I didn't. We have video. It's out there.
We have it on footage, sir.
Like, here's the video of you saying this. Like, I want to see like one of those guys in the interviews where they get in the Discord and they're like, okay, I'm going to play you back this audio.
Yeah, right?
So this is you, right? Yes. Okay, cool. We're going to play the video. And then you say this thing and you pause the video and you're like, okay, now that you've heard this, I want to go to this other video. This is you too, right? Yes. Okay. Well, this video says that that you didn't say this. Clearly we've seen that you did. At that point, it's kind of like, okay, guys, yeah, you're right. I did say these things before. I didn't understand the full information or I may disagree with it. Or you may say, you know what? No, I agree with what I said back then. But by saying I didn't say that,
Yeah.
bro,
It's just crazy, man.
that's the part. It's the same. That's why we use. That's why we use the analogy of the Roach World of Warcraft thing, because a lot of it was, well, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I didn't have this.
It's turning into a pattern.
In which case you actually did have those things and you did have the ability. You chose not to do it.
That's my issue. Is that and I brought it up because it's turning into a pattern, and it's the reason why. You know, I gotta be real with you. I don't have a lot of sympathy for him right now.
Yeah.
I think that this is an earned, you know, unfortunately, like a beatdown.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man. Like
I'm against cyberbullying, but
you know, I'm like so.
Don't be going crazy out there. But
I'm not for the death threats at all.
Don't be doing that.
Insanity. Swatting him, absolutely not.
Yeah, don't dox him, nothing like that. But
that's absolutely trash. But you know, hey,
you can disagree with him in an adult manner.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, you can disagree in a manner.
By the way, and this needs to be, I said too, we've got to stop with all this death threat now, like nonsense, man.
You're gonna get death threats for saying that.
Probably.
The death threaters love to death threat.
Yeah, they do. They're like, oh my god.
By the way, how are we looking? I need to.
We're actually past time.
Oh, geez. Did Luis open?
He did.
Okay,
we're good to go.
I was like, whoops.
But no, dude, let's say his last thing was boom, stuff to jump off for the day. But yeah, no, I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people on the internet just go from 0 to 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're able to hide behind their screen.
Right. You feel like you have no repercussions on what you say, but actually you do. That's why there's cyberbullying. That's why there's a thing. Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that's crazy about this, man. Like, I've personally, you know, been called when I was back in the military.
He must be tired.
Really, I'm sleepy, sir. No, but when I was back in the military, I got called out for that because we had a kid that was on the installation that was getting cyberbullied by other friends, and we got called out to that situation.
Friends.
So, and we found them. It's not that hard.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember this story.
There were kids on the Discord that were bullying a friend.
Yeah, it was kids.
And we got called out to a house, and I had to go over there and talk to the family and be like, what's going on?
They didn't realize that.
Yes. And I was like,
we actually can find you.
And we found him.
And that's the thing. Like, you have to remember.
You can be found. Like, you have a footprint.
Yeah. You have to remember, like, just because you are behind a screen doesn't mean that you're completely behind that screen. People can find you, but that's not
tired all of a sudden. This is crazy.
I don't know.
Wake me
up.
But
that's not really the point of being, hey, you can be found or anything. It's like you shouldn't be doing that anyway. You can disagree. I can disagree with Thor. I can disagree with, you know, Asmongold. I can disagree with, but I don't have to be like sending them messages saying that if they continue to do that, you know, they're going to face my wrath or something like come on, guys, be realistic here. You can disagree as an adult, and you can give even a little bit of criticization. Is that what it is? You can criticize them a little bit.
Yeah. So you can criticize anybody that you want to criticize.
But you don't have to
But
go
you don't
overboard.
have to go overboard.
Yeah, you don't have to
like
go
this is
overboard.
my thing. Like, hey man, I disagree with you. You know, like
Right.
There's things
that's all you
that
have to
you're
do.
allowed to do.
Yeah.
Death threats is not one of them.
Right. Yeah, I was
Just
gonna
don't
say,
do that. This is just childish.
I
Don't
know-
swat people. That's childish.
Yeah, I know that he's taken a lot of heat.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of that heat is justified.
Right.
Like, and this is my thing. Like, I'm not out here trying to defend his position.
Yeah.
I will say, like, the man does not deserve to be swatted. Does not
Right,
deserve
yeah,
death
he doesn't
threats.
deserve
Like,
any of that
that's
stuff for
insane.
saying something.
You also should not be going on to his. I add this too. You should not be review bombing him for his games and stuff like that. That is not fair for him or for people that he works with because you're not just affecting him.
Yeah.
You know, there's
You're being just as bad as he is by doing that.
there's a level of appropriateness.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. I'm gonna stop watching you.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you can do all that all day.
But going out of your way to destroy somebody, and I will say this too, like, and people are probably gonna be like, yeah, but he did it to Ross because he did, like he went out of his way to really damage Ross, from what I have seen.
This one I'm not for sure on. I won't speak on it.
But once again, doesn't give you the right to go out there and demolish somebody else.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
I
gonna
mean,
say.
if you think of it from this perspective, if you have if somebody says a hot take that you disagree with and you're like, I don't agree with this guy. And it seems like every time they're talking, they're saying some hot take that I don't agree with. And you're like, you know what? You can send a message in their chat, or you can put it on their TikTok or Instagram or whatever. You can respond to it and be like, I disagree with this.
Yeah.
And then unfollow them. And then that's it. And here's the thing. If I have 1 million followers and 600,000 people disagree with me, that's over 50%, 60% of the people that are there, you know, which is kind of what's happening right now. A lot of people are disagreeing with what he's saying. If everybody left, he would, one, no longer have a platform to talk on. So he would not be able to do the things that he's doing. And you are inadvertently, you are actually doing it, you know, intentionally by not following them. But you are also destroying them at the same time by removing all of their ability. You're taking their platform away from them. That is the way that you should be looking at it. You shouldn't be
like, hey man, if you're gonna have this, like if you're gonna have this much negative hot takes and things like that, you're gonna be causing like these many problems. We're just gonna not let you have a platform.
Right? Yeah, we're just not gonna follow you. We're gonna follow the people that we believe are doing the right thing, that are actually following what I feel is
like Craig. Craig doesn't roach out.
Yeah.
Craig is a good mage. Craig will have your back.
Yeah, I'll die. I'll go down.
Yeah, he would.
I played hardcore with a couple of my buddies, and there was several times where I went down to, and I played a mage too.
Yeah.
I went down to 10 health protecting my buddy, and I guarantee you, if I wouldn't have stepped in, they would have died because I almost died because I saved them.
Yep.
If I didn't step in at all, they were dead.
So, Only Fangs, you want a new mage? We got you right here. Yeah, this is the guy, dude. This is the guy. But anyway, that is gonna be it for today.
Yep.
Man, we went all over the place. We went from Disney World to World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Well, we talked about a bunch of different things, so that's good.
It's kind of fun. So yeah, moral of the story is don't roach out.
Don't roach out, yeah.
Don't do it. All right, everybody. Appreciate you all swinging by the podcast today. We will see you guys all in the next episode.
Yep, next Monday. Same time, same place.
Ooh, baby. All right. Let's get back to work.
You want to hit the button this time?
Hit the button.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.